morning, everybody. Welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Frederick, Colorado. My name's Taylor, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2026 Newmar Ventana. This one is the 3512 floor plan. So I love how it's nice, short, and mighty. It's on a 380 horsepower Freightliner chassis. It has the drop-down bunk, so you can sleep more than 2 people. You can actually sleep up to 6 if you'd like, so it's basically ready to go for family adventures. We're going to go ahead and take a walk around the outside first, and then we'll end off on the inside. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right. We'll start over here. We have our big bus style mirrors here, so it gives you the ultimate view for that blind spot. If it doesn't make you very comfortable looking at the mirrors, you do have your nice little blind spot camera here. So when you turn on that blinker, it'll go ahead and show you your blind spots. Always for Newmar, you have a nice little Newmar grab bar with a custom password, so you can go ahead and enter your coach. So you can go ahead and unlock it or lock it, and then you have a nice little doorbell here. Down below here is just a 3512, so it's going to be 35 feet long. The floor plan is 12, but it's actually 35 foot 10 inches long, just to be exact. We have our nice full body custom paint here. So they go through an extensive cut and buff period to give it that very nice shine. And as we work our way up, we do have a nice little awning up here for our entrance door. I just don't have that one out. And then we have a nice little light to go ahead and light up that campground. Our full wall awning is out, and you do have LED lights throughout the whole awning. So if you wanted to go ahead and add some extra lighting at night, you can go ahead and do so. You have a dual diesel fill on either side here. It's going to be a 100-gallon fuel tank. Don't worry, you do have nice steel superstructure inside here, so if you ever happen to have a blowout on your tire, your fuel tank is going to be nice and protected. As we work our way to our first bay here, you can see it's nice and carpeted. This one is a through and through. And we do have some charging over to the right, and some extra appliances, complimentary of Newmar. This one's gonna be our first pass-through bay here, so you have your road vac appliances in that bag there, so I'll show you where that is inside of the coach. But your first pass-through storage here, if you wanted to go ahead and get those nice drawers put in, we can do that here for you. Slide-out trays, whatever you'd like to call them. Another nice upgrade is the Samsung exterior entertainment system with that Bose soundbar. And then you do have some options for some charging inside here as well. So if you needed to charge any other electronics, you can go ahead and do that from the outside without having to open up any bay doors. And right over here, nothing too crazy. This is just going to be our control board here. Nice control panel, fuses, and all that good stuff. But it is very easily accessible, so if you needed to get into that, you can. All right, our next compartment here is a little bit smaller, but you do have a nice little light here. It is manual, so you have to flick on and off that switch when it is in use. All right, and our last bay door on that passenger side, this is just going to be where our chassis batteries are, and then our chassis battery disconnect. Since we are talking about the chassis batteries, I just want to let you know you do have a 10-watt solar panel on the roof dedicated to charging your chassis batteries. All right. Now that we're working our way back here to the rear, we'll go ahead and start at the top. We do have 2 ACs up there. It's the 15 K BTU Penguin with heat pump. And then that one solar panel that's up there. And then let me double check to see if it was, yes, so you do have solar prep there for a 6-gauge wire. So all you need is the panels, which we can do here as well if you wanted some extra solar. You do have your nice little backup camera right down here. Beautiful Ventana emblem. And then our chassis, again, it's on that Freightliner custom chassis. It's the 380 horsepower, the XCR. And then you have the Cummins L9 diesel. Down below here, we do have everything already pre-wired for a tow vehicle. So you have your brake lights here and that ping tank. And then you have your hitch right here, which is a total of 10,000 pound towing capacity. All right, now we'll work our way over here to the driver's side. Our first bay compartment, again with another light, and then you have your block heater in this one as well. Right over here we have our 50 amp shore power cord. I love how it's a manual pull, automatic retract here. That's great during the heat, the snow. It just keeps it nice and tidy inside of this bay instead of having to figure out how you want to store it in there. You do have that light, surge guard protector, and then you have just your RV battery power monitor for the ATS in there as well. And then if you wanted to go ahead and plug in another TV, you have a pre-wire in there as well. Alrighty, now we have our DEF fill here. And then right across from that is just a nice little cubby here so you can put your hoses, dump hoses when they get all dirty. You can just toss them in here. They have a designated area. And then down below it has a nice little hole so if there is any fluids left over, that it can go ahead and just automatically drain out. Alrighty, now to our wet bay. So for the tank capacities on this specific floor plan again, which is the 3512, for our freshwater we have 105 gallons, our black tank's gonna be 55 gallons, and then our gray is 75. You have your water filter here, and then a nice little hose again with the same thing, manual pull, automatic retract. And then we have our outdoor shower here, so we can go ahead and rinse off pups or feet or anything before you enter the coach to kind of keep it nice and clean. Another thing that they've been doing for quite a few years now here, I love that etched in stainless steel backsplash, so you don't have to worry about any stickers or anything peeling off through the length of the coach. You can always kind of see what's going on. And it kind of gives it a little bit more of a cleaner look on the inside as well, which I like for it being one of the dirtiest bays. Alrighty, right over here we have our Oasis Chinook. So this is the hydronic heating system. This is going to be for your hot water as well as your heater. And then the next bay here is just that one pass-through storage bay here. So it, again, being a 35-foot coach, it's still nice being able to have at least one pass-through storage. And then right over here, we have a total of our, I believe, 8 6-volt batteries in there. And then we have the 2,800 watt inverter as well. But it's kind of nice how it is on a slide-out tray. You do have to pull this little gadget here to kind of pull that out, but if you are someone that likes to self-service your batteries, it's nice and accessible to you, and also you can go ahead and check on the battery life as well. Here is that second fill here, again 100-gallon diesel fuel. And then we do have our generator running right now, so the exhaust is right here, and then just some spare fuses and right here, and then this we'll just go ahead and pull so you can go ahead and see the generator. Pull that. All right, perfect. I did pull it hard enough. Alrighty, and up front here you just have your generator. You have the 8 kilowatt Cummins Onan generator here. And then we do have that hot water line up here to the generator too, which is kind of nice to hose off that front windshield whenever it gets caked up with bugs. And then you have your windshield wiper fluid over there as well. But yeah, everything's pretty accessible in here. Alrighty. And then up front here, before we kind of enter, we do have that 360 camera, so you have that front view camera up there as well. And then you do have that Mobileye in the windshield, so that will kind of help monitor you, keeping you in the lane. So it will have an audible as well as a visual alert to let you know when you aren't in the lanes. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take our first few steps inside of the coach. Everything is nice and closed up right now. And I do have all the lights on, and I blacked out all the screens just so you can really see the kind of lighting it offers, how bright it gets without using that outside light. But very comfy floor plan here. As you can see, you could still walk through everything right here. They're no longer doing the carpet in the Ventana, so it's more of like that matte look here, which is kind of nice. I don't know, we can kind of use your guys' feedback if that's something that you do like, or if you prefer the carpet, but I feel like it's easier to clean, doesn't get caked up. I don't know, all around better maintenance. And then of course you can get to your mid-bath here by opening the door, and then you could still access the fridge. So I'll go ahead and get the slides open here. Perfect, thank you. And then as far as this interior color, the interior decor is the Brighton decor. And then I'm gonna slaughter the graphics, but it was the Mendenhall, I guess, graphics. And then you have the chestnut glazed maple hardwood here, so it's like nice and shiny. But once this slide finishes opening up, you can see how much space you actually have in here. But we'll go ahead and keep going back here. We have 2 more slides that I'm just gonna go ahead and open for you. Whoops, actually over here. And we'll start in the master bath. Another cool feature, even though this is a 35-foot coach, again, this is a king bed, so it's a 72 by 80. And then we did do the upgrade for the Premier Air mattress as well. All right, so we'll just go ahead and start over here. We have our nice overhead storage with some charging up above as well. So it is all through and through. You can sleek key any of electronic cords through here if needed. And then you have a nice little pillow top backboard here. The valances match too, which I really like. Window on either side that is that you can go ahead and open. So if you are boondocking and you need some kind of cross breeze here to keep it nice and cool, you have the option of doing that as well. Nice little countertop on each side with some charging. You have the UBC as well as USB. And then a nice little cubby for some tissue boxes or water on either side as well. And then for that master closet, I'm gonna go ahead and sneak by it really quick so I can open that up for you. We have the cushion inside here because the dinette turns into a bed area. But it does have a nice little drop down back there, so if you wanted to put an extra box or kind of put all your shoes in there, you have the option of doing that. And then this is just where your control panel is, fuses, breakers, all that good stuff too. This little cubby is just an access point because we did opt into the washer and dryer, so you just can kind of see that there if you had anything that needed to be serviced. You have a nice little access point here, again, for the Splendid washer and dryer. Keep in mind there is a nice little step up here because that's just where the chassis access point is. I just like to point that out. Some people aren't the biggest fan of the little step up, but you can't really get away from that. And then I'll go ahead and just open up these drawers really quick so you can kind of see all the storage capacity here. They are going to be soft closed. Total of 5 drawers, and then this one is just for any of the receivers or anything for your TV. And then you have 2 closets in here, mainly cubbies, so you can go ahead and store any totes or folded clothes in here as well. Another window, so a total of 3 windows that do open up in the bedroom. And I'm gonna go ahead and, it does dual as an emergency exit there, but you do have a screen door as well, so you can use that to kind of get some nice cool breeze in if needed. And here is that last one. Perfect. And then talking about storage inside of the bedroom, you do have plenty more storage underneath the bed here. And then that's where our ladder is, kind of where we stored it for that drop down bunk I mentioned earlier. I'll go ahead and just leave it in there. All right. Before we exit the bedroom, I just wanted to kind of show you guys the nice little pocket door to give yourself some privacy. Notice there isn't a huge gap below, so that kind of helps with that privacy factor as well. Some of them are about 3 to 4 inches above the ground, so just wanted to show that. And then you have your nice little central vac down below here as well, so that nice little built-in vacuum. is always a great touch. Got some artwork. As we slide our way down here, we have this mid-bath, which I'll go ahead and just let you guys poke around. Residential shower, nice marbly look in there. You do have your shower aquamizer in there. So if you are boondocking, you can go ahead and save that 105 gallons of fresh water capacity by just letting that heat, instead of the water just flowing through, going directly into that gray tank. And then you have a nice little window there, some storage, a place to kind of hold your towel, overmount sink, makes it feel a little fancy in there, and then of course some more storage as well. So you do have electric floor heat too on the tile. That's something we can go ahead and access in here. I'll just finish this side before we flip into our kitchen area. But there's just a nice little overview here, so you can go directly to your water pump, see your house batteries, tank levels, all the lighting fixtures over here to turn on and off. If you want to dive a little deeper into your house and chassis batteries, you would do it on the next screen over. And then we have our floor heat, which will be in 3 separate sections here. High, medium, and low isn't going to be the temperature, it's just going to be the longevity of how long it will be on. And of course, the longer it's on, the hotter it will get. But just so you know, it isn't temperature set. Right over here, we just have our 2 ACs. So right now I do have them both on and both set to 72, which we have met that temperature, so it's nice and cool in here. And then we have our Oasis right here and our AC element 1 and then AC element 1 and 2. If you wanted to go ahead and pair your phone, you'd go ahead and do it from this screen. So you can go ahead and access some cool features from your cell phone. And then the last screen is just going to be all of those light fixtures. Directly above over here, we just have our fantastic fan set up here, so you can go ahead and switch it on and on from here. And then directly below that, we just have a few of these that will be sporadically throughout the coach. That's just going to help you with your hot for your heater and your AC to kind of help keep a consistent temperature throughout the whole coach. Alrighty, now we're going to jump back over here, and I'm going to show you your pantry that we kind of skipped, but I didn't want to miss anything. So you have your nice pantry here with multiple shelves. And then directly across from there, we have our Whirlpool fridge. And below the freezer, it's a nice residential fridge with the ice maker. And plenty of storage for all those pre-made home-cooked meals before you go on your adventure. Another cool feature that I absolutely love that they started doing for 2026 is it's not only microwave and convection, but now it does have the air fry feature. So a lot of people are always like, where am I going to put my air fryer? Well, now it's already built in for you in the microwave, which is really nice. And then we'll just go ahead and continue with the storage up above here. So this one is nice and through. And then down below, we did opt into having the upgrade for a kitchen window. Beautiful solid surface countertops here, as well as the covers. And then it duals as a cutting board on that side. But you have the 2 true induction cooktops here. Alrighty, and then our sink, undermount sink, nice and rectangular, very big, and then your extender, so you can go ahead and rinse out that sink gracefully. Perfect, and then now the storage down below here. I'm just gonna go ahead and open these up so you can take a nice little peek in them all. Starting with this side, nice little trash can and some extra space underneath the sink. And then we have our 4 drawers. Again, all soft close, so no banging around here. The last drawer with all of our remotes, our awning controllers, all that good stuff, extra paint. And then we have our dishwasher, another upgrade that is really nice to have. All right, and we'll continue down to our kitchen here where we have the booth dinette. This is one that we've seen that extra cushion in our closet area. So you can go ahead and drop this down and have this be a sleeping area. I didn't count this as the sleeping area just because it's a little smaller, but you could sleep some kids here if needed. And then I'll go ahead and pop up that TV for you guys. I love how it's nice and hidden. So let me just go up to that TV lift. And again, that window is nice and blacked out to kind of give us some better lighting in here so it's not too shiny. Alrighty. So as that TV is going up, you guys kind of get the point of how it's going to come up, but I just want to go ahead and show you some storage in here. Underneath that booth dinette as well. And then this is another spot where it would have carpet, but it has that new matte look underneath. Charging on either side of the booth dinette as well. And then you do have an extra seat belt in here. So you have one seat belt here, and then you have a few seat belts in this big couch. I didn't write down the length of the couch, but I believe it was 82 or 84. I could double check that for you if you'd like, but this does pull out into another bed. So this is that second sleeping area that I counted for 2 in the back, 2 here, and then 2 more in the drop down bunk. But before we get to that, I'll go ahead and just open up some more storage space under here. And again, you have the charging on either side. Yep. And then I like how they have nice little counter space here on either side as well, just so you have somewhere to go ahead and set your drinks down if needed. Another thing I didn't point out to you guys, you have some control panels all throughout the coach that's going to go ahead and set, you can go ahead and turn on and off your lights, you can set temperatures, you can see AGS, do your floor heat, tanks, and then that is where I did the TV lift as well. Alrighty. Now we are going to go ahead and I'll demonstrate this, the drop down bunk. So you have your controller right over here. Right now it's in the lock position, so you do have to go ahead and turn that key to be able to use it. So I turn it up, and then you do have your wine guard controller here since we're already in this section. And now I'll go ahead and start dropping it down. Perfect. And that is as low as it goes, so you don't have to worry about it obstructing the captain's chairs at all. I would say it's probably like a twin, maybe a little bit longer than a twin, but like a twin extra long up here. It's not, I wouldn't say it's exactly a full, it's a little shorter than a full, but it's kind of nice being able to kind of drop it down so it's not invading your space, tucked away. Sometimes people don't even realize it's a drop down bunk. And we'll go ahead and bring it back up. And then while it's going up, I'll show you the extra little cabinet space you have up there, and then we'll go over all of the gadgets. Alrighty, so here is our Victron energy system here, so you can kind of see all charging. And then we have our power control system here. Let me turn it on for you, and you can go ahead and flip through the screens to see as far as the block heater, water heater, AC, and then your line status for your voltage, all that good stuff. Down here is just your slide controllers for both of the slides that are in here, and then the other controllers are in that bedroom. This one's going to be for the awnings. Since I do have them out right now, I'll just go ahead and unlock it, and then 0 means it will go ahead and bring them in or out at the same time. So then we'll just go ahead and push that arrow in, and it will slowly retract them all in. This one is for the one that I didn't have out, so that's the one that's above the door. So this one's just with a button, and you go ahead and manually do that. And then you have your security lights and the exterior step switch. And then we have 2 more little cubbies here. And then the last one, they are all through and through. But now let's just go ahead and jump right here. And we can go ahead and start to the left of me. We have our EQ system, so our leveling jacks, our HWH here. So you just go ahead and power those on. And then with the push of a button, you can go ahead and level your coach. Turn it off when it's not in use. And then you have your ATC override here, your air horn, nice little cup holder. And then this is just so we can go ahead and control our mirrors and set them to where we need. And then we have our heater for our mirrors here, nice little defrost, dome lights, and then our chassis or house battery boost. So if your chassis is dead but you still have juice left in the house, you can go ahead and use your house power to jump your chassis or vice versa. And then you have a nice little charger here for your phone. I'm gonna go ahead and start the chassis here so we can light up that screen. Just halfway clicked it just to get it to turn on here. Alrighty. So now we have our Freightliner custom chassis slowly waking up here with our LED screen. Whenever you first turn it on, it kind of lights up like a Christmas tree. But we can go ahead and just go to our home page now. So we have our gauges, we can change our steering effort, which is kind of what we call comfort drive. You can go into your fuel economy, your Mobileye, so you can go ahead and set your parameters there for what you do and you don't like. Your tire pressure, so you have a TPMS built in here as well, and then just your trips, extra vehicle settings, and then you have diagnostics, and then go ahead and turn the menu off. You have to go all the way down and then push OK. As far as the steering wheel here, this is a Freightliner steering wheel, of course, so if you are familiar with that, you can go ahead, everything on this side, this is what controlled my LED dash, so you can do your up and down for your volume as well, answer calls, cruise control is going to be set right here. One thing that not a lot of people, whoops, I didn't turn on all the way so I can't, but you have for your drive, neutral, and reverse here, for that Allison, you have it kind of nice and directly under your steering wheel. So if you wanted to go to manual or automatic, you can keep both hands on the wheel while still using that. So I like it. Some people feel indifferent about it, but moving on to our next thing here, I'll just go ahead and accept that. We have our built-in navigation. I love that they have a built-in navigation here just because that won't take you down any routes that your coach wouldn't be able to fit down. So I always say, if you are unfamiliar with the route you're taking, I would rely on the navigation that's built in versus your phone. And then you just to dim here, you can go ahead and have a favorite screen. Right now there isn't any, so we just went directly to our radio. And then we have our 360 camera right here, and then this is where it'll pop up when we turn on our blinker to kind of see our blind spots. Down below here is just our visor for that windshield, our shade, our fans, high, medium, and low for the fans, generator, which is on, that's why it's highlighted orange. And then we have our front fan again, high, medium, and low, our entry lock, so it'll go ahead and lock that door just in case we forgot before we take off. And then we have all of our heating and cooling settings right over here. And then to end off, you have two little cup holders. If you need more, there is some on the side, and I'm sorry, I thought that was, I can't, there we go. And a nice little cubby space here. But again, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, or any questions about the Newmar line, I'd be happy to help you guys out. You can reach me down below here, which is my personal number, so it's also textable, at 970-388-7937. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and have a great day.